After what was a year of intensive cancer treatment in India, a 3-year-old girl arrives at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, a step closer to home, masking her year-long fight against leukemia. One she has won on the hospital bed and that continues outside the hospital confines.
From the beginning, you have to really avoid crowds. And for her, any small infection becomes life-threatening.
Jina yangu ni Alexandra Ajowi.
Weeks later, and Alexandra, fondly referred to as Alexis or sometimes Baby Lexi, has all the musings of a shy but strong character.
And red. And green.
Yes. Those are your favorite colors?
Yes.
The 3-year-old drawing me to her world. It is her favorite pastime, coloring and painting.
This is purple. And the leaf?
Green.
This time she gets to do it from home.
She's supposed to not go to school for 2 years when her immunity will be down. And really she's also supposed to avoid school-going children. So becomes very difficult. She has a sibling who goes to school. Actually, the suggestion that the doctor gave me was that I should just homeschool both of them. If not, then separate the 2 children.
July last year, and the now cheery Alexis was thought to have a bout of chickenpox. Come November, and it was recurrent fevers. The doctors running tests on her at first could not detect what was wrong until they did a bone marrow test. Alexis was diagnosed with acute leukemia at the tender age of 2.
They said very strong chemotherapy and also possible transplant.
Their options for her treatment then were a hospital in South Africa or India. Both required 10 million Kenya shillings at a minimum. India eventually proved a more viable option because they allowed the family to pay the amount in installments.
We sold more or less all the assets we had to raise the money. We took loans.
Alexis would begin 2 months of aggressive, painful chemotherapy treatment, but then she did not respond to the chemo. If anything, her condition was worsening, and so doctors advised that she gets a bone marrow transplant that would cost $55,000, that is about 5.5 million Kenya shillings, and $35,000 to get a donor, about 3.5 million Kenya shillings. In total, they would require 9 million shillings for the transplant alone.
So initially they had thought that the donor would be the brother. So we had his sample sent from here to India. And once they tested, he wasn't a match.
By this time, the family had exhausted their resources and even more were emotionally drained.
It reaches a point she's not talking to anybody. She was not talking to me. She's not talking to everybody that she knows.
Back home, support was being rallied through social media, through the Africa Cancer Foundation, and eventually the Ministry of Medical Services intervened, what eventually saw the National Health Insurance Fund place a 2 million shillings deposit for baby Lexi's transplant in June.
The first 1 month, she recovered and was discharged. But then a week after that, she got very sick.
Baby Lexi was eventually discharged in October and allowed to come back home.
I know it's been a week since you came back. How has baby Lexi been faring?
There's a lot of improvement. She still has not gained all her previous weight. So she's quite thin despite eating. She's weak, she has muscle weakness, she's not able to walk long distances.
For now, she takes 8 tablets in the morning, 4 after lunch and another 8 in the evening. But she fights on, her family fights on, their journey one that rides on faith.
There's a 10% chance that she will survive this and live to adulthood. And I will take that chance and just stand on the healing power of God.
Cheese.
Baby Lexi still has a medical balance of 1.2 million shillings that the family is still grappling to settle. This from a family whose experience has taught them to rally behind proper structures to support cancer treatment in the country, so that tackling cancer should be on the government's list of priorities. Sally Mbilu, Citizen Weekend.